All right, so we're going to start. Welcome, everybody. Please, you can welcome to. You're welcome to help yourself and join the seats. For the people who don't know me, I'm Rabbi Gutmacher, originally from France. I grew up actually also in Germany 2 years, and then I came to New York when I was 18. I didn't grow up religious, and when I turned 18, I started to ask the deep questions, which brought me to New York, which brought me to yeshiva, where I got a lot of answers, and then basically I decided to share the amazing experience I had as a Jew, or whatever knowledge I gained, and that's when I work for Emet Outreach, right, which is in a few campuses, Queens College, St. John's, LIU, Baruch, Hunter, and anybody who doesn't know about Emet, if you do a program, it's for 10 months, once a week, and we have 2 Shabbaton also, and then after you can get a trip to Israel for almost nothing. So you're welcome to join anytime you want. We're here, and we want you to experience the Holy Land. I actually just came back from Israel, and it was amazing. I was with those guys there. Anybody who was in Tzfat knows what I'm talking about. Just being in Israel, you're high. You don't need to take drugs or anything or drink. You go to Israel, you're high. It's the best.
He was so high, it's not even funny.
Right. So, all right. So I want to thank Torah Anytime for recording and Emet for allowing me to speak tonight. Tonight, if you saw the title, maybe it's about the spiritual mission of a Jew. I think actually that this topic tonight is actually maybe the most important teachings that you're going to hear in your life. Not that I'm a great rabbi, but the information, even if it's simple, you're going to see that unless you are connected with what I'm saying, you're wasting your life. So my hope is that after that class tonight, your life will change forever. Obviously, it's not going to depend on me. It's going to depend on you and what you're going to do about it. So the goal is to speak about really what's really different between a Jew and a non-Jew, something that a lot of people, even within the Orthodox community, don't always understand, and as a Jew, what's my mission? What I'm supposed to do in this world? You have non-Jews and you have the Jews. Okay, what's their goal and what's our goal, and what's the big picture? Obviously, it will definitely join with Kabbalistic concept, spiritual concept, because as Jews we know we have a soul, and we have to learn how to use it. Okay. Without further ado, let's start. I'm going to read to you 2 sources, actually from non-Jews. 2 famous authors. One is Leo Tolstoy, and the other one is Mark Twain. And I want you to see how not all non-Jews, but certain non-Jews look at Israel, at the Jews, and what they say about us. It says like that. Leon Tolstoy says, "What is a Jew? That question is not as all so odd as it seems. Let us see what kind of peculiar creature the Jew is, which all the rulers and all the nations have together and separately abused and molested, oppressed and persecuted, trampled and butchered, burned and hanged. And in spite of all this is yet alive. What is a Jew who never allowed himself to be led astray by all the earthly possessions which his oppressors and persecutors constantly offered him in order that he should change his faith and forsake his own Jewish religion? The Jew is that sacred being who has brought down from heaven the everlasting fire and has illuminated with it the entire world. He is the religious source, spring and fountain out of which all the rest of the peoples have drawn their beliefs and their religions. The Jew is the emblem of eternity. He whom neither slaughter nor torture of thousands of years could destroy. He whom neither fire nor sword nor inquisition was able to wipe off the face of the earth. He who was the first to produce the oracles of God. He who has been for so long the guardian of prophecy and who transmitted it to the rest of the world. Such a nation cannot be destroyed. So that's Leon Tolstoy. And now another short paragraph about Mark Twain. Everybody understand my French accent? It's fine? Yeah? Okay. I have a translator here if you need. So he says like that, 1980. If the statistics are right, the Jews constitute but 1% of the human race. Today, even less. I think it's 0.01 or something like that. It suggests a nebulous, dim puff of stardust lost in the blaze of the Milky Way. Properly, the Jew ought hardly to be heard of. But he is heard of, has always been heard of. He is as prominent on the planet as any other people. And his commercial importance is extravagantly out of proportion to the smallest of his bulk. Today, we know that it's even more true. His contributions to the world's list of great names are also out of proportion to the weakness of his numbers. He has made a marvelous fight in this world, in all the ages, and has done it with his hands tied behind him. He could be vain of himself and be excused for it. The Egyptian, the Babylonian, and the Persian rose, filled the planet with sound and splendor, then faded to drum stuff and passed away. The Greek and the Roman followed and made a vast noise, and they are gone. Other peoples have sprung up and held their torch high for a time, but it burned out, and they sit in twilight now or have vanished. The Jew saw them all, beat them all, and is now what he always was, exhibiting no decadence, no infirmities of age, no weakening of his parts, no slowing of his energies, no dulling of his alert and aggressive mind. All things are mortal but the Jew. All other forces pass, but he remains. What is the secret of his immortality? Okay, so I find those two it's very powerful. I think very powerful, especially coming from a non-Jewish viewpoint.
Is that Mark Twain?
Mark Twain, yeah. I want tonight to try to answer why is it so? Why are we so eternal? Why do we keep fighting and we're still alive today, so important to the world? So in order to understand that, we need to start with a little bit of history. I like always to have a board. I'm very visual. So I don't know if I have so much to actually draw, but okay. At the beginning of history, right, there was, as we know from the Bible, the first man, Adam Harishon, right? The source of all of humanity. Right? You had Adam. Now, let's understand, what was Adam? Adam was like a big soul, a big, huge soul, which contains all the soul that exists today. Everybody who is here today comes from that man. In a way, everyone in this room was part of that soul. In Judaism, I don't know if you know, the soul splits. They split and they come back again, just like in Buddhism, to reincarnate in order to fix itself. But at the beginning, at the source, there was one man with all that huge soul, was very powerful. And you have to understand, that soul, in a way, let's call it energy. His soul had a super energy, super power energy. Now, what was Adam? Was Adam Jewish or non-Jewish?
Non-Jewish.
Right. There was no such a thing as Jews and non-Jews. And believe it or not, but our sages, the Ramchal and other sages, says that at the beginning there was not supposed to be anything like Jews and non-Jews. There was supposed just to be one type of people, the people from Adam. And all the people at the time were supposed to be called Israel. There was supposed to be just one nation, huge nation, no Jews and non-Jews, just called Israel. What does Israel mean? Means that we are on a mission to perfect the world, to elevate the world, and come close to God. That's all it was, to achieve the highest possible pleasure. Right? Let's always remember that the purpose of the world is to achieve the highest possible pleasure. Right? Very important. We can discuss it in private later, what that means. But being close to God, being one with God, is the highest pleasure. And that's our mission here. So, let's go back. At the beginning, there was supposed to be Adam Harishon creating a nation, right? A huge nation called Israel, which doesn't mean Jews or non-Jews. It means just one nation. Israel means Yashar Kel, straight to God. Right? Someone who follows God, who's straight to God. Now, what happened? Adam Harishon had a choice to make, and from eating from the tree. It was a test, to eat from the tree of life or from the trees of the garden, or not to eat from the tree of knowledge. So he had a test and a choice, and he failed that test. Now we could speak for a few hours about just what the test was and what it really represents and means. Obviously, there was no tree there, and he took the fruit and he bite into it, or that's more like Snow White stories. But understand that all those stories are here to teach you a concept, something. Yes?
You know the actual story?
Huh? Yeah.
The actual story was happening between Adam and Eve?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of details. What?
It wasn't about an apple.
No, it was not an apple.
It was something...
Yeah.
Something adult rated?
No, okay, that's something else. We'll discuss it after.
Rated R.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I heard it was something else.
Oh yeah, it was very. And let's understand. Adam Harishon was a superhuman being. He was a soul and an energy that had superpowers, and he was, in a way, he was like a superhero. You have to think of him as a superhero with tremendous energy. Now, because he failed, the whole world changed. The way God wanted him to elevate the world a certain way, Adam Harishon took another path. He said, I want to change the world that way. And maybe on some level he had the good intention. Okay? It's not that simple. It's not like he made a choice, oh, should I eat from the tree? Right? It was a very deep, he understood what he was doing. There was a very deep understanding. But whatever choice he made was the wrong choice. There was something wrong with his choice, and he didn't follow the way God wanted. He thought that the way he will do it will be more powerful and better. What happened? Once he made that mistake, then everything changed. The super soul, let's say the super energy he had, right, got, in a way, broken and destroyed. He lost, so to say, his power. And if you want to take that, like, it's as if all his power, his energy spread out through the world, right? He lost his energy, his connection with the entire world. Now, from there came many human beings, right? And they were neither called Israel, they were neither called Jews, neither called non-Jews. They were called just people. And what was now necessary, it was for people now to fix the world the way it's supposed to be. And the only way to fix the world before 6,000, which is now, is to have a nation, right, which is reconnect to Israel, to have a nation who is ready to take that power back and affect the world. Okay? So let's understand what that means. It's very important. And that's where the difference between a Jew and a non-Jew starts, right? A Jew means I'm now choosing to take that energy, that power, that super soul that was left, right, and reconnect to that energy. Put E for energy. Whatever. No, that's not like that. Yeah? E for energy. Whatever. So reconnect to that energy and now use all my action to fix the world. Meaning that you know, like string theory or butterfly effect. Now every one of my action, I'm going to be much more amplified. When Avram decided to convert, it was because he wanted to do the purpose of creation. He was looking for the way now to fix the world and to bring the world to completion. So he was looking, how do I do that? And through his searching, he realized, right, there is a God, and he wanted to know what's the best way from God's point of view to fix the world. So God told him, I have special power that I can give you, which is the Jewish soul. And once you get back that Jewish soul, which is the same, almost the same, not completely, but almost the same that Adam Arishon had, then you can re-enter that energy and that soul you had in the past. And then from now on, every one of your actions are going to be different than a non-Jew. Why? Because the impact and the energy that is in your action is tremendous. Meaning that now you're going to say a word, when you're going to have a thought, when you do an action, the entire world is going to change. The spiritual world and the entire world. Your soul, when you reconnect to the first energy, your soul reconnect to Adam Arishon, which was connected to the entire world. You have to think that Adam's soul, as human beings, were very small, but your soul is bigger than the universe. When you do something, it shakes everything. That's the whole idea of string theory. You move one thing and then everything is shaken up. So Abraham say, okay, I want that. I'm ready to take that responsibility. Now let's understand, it's very dangerous. And that's why we just don't go outside in the non-Jewish world. Yeah, become Jewish, convert, it's the best thing. Whoa. You gotta understand. If you convert, that means that everything you do, whether good or bad, has a tremendous effect on creation. If you do good, it's great. You get amazing consequences, and your reward for doing good is much more because you have so much more responsibility. But if you mess up, then you have to repair what you messed up. But when we mess up much more than the non-Jew, right? And that's why throughout the generations, all the Jews are the ones who are picked on. And we say, oh, why, anti-Semitism? No, you don't understand. If we mess up, we have to clean up. And why do you think all the time we have message, all the non-Jews, they say, yes, the Jews fault. They don't even know why. But it's like almost unconscious. The Jews fault. Even the Gemara says, what does the Gemara say? That everything bad that happened in the world is because of the Jew. Now, which other religion is crazy enough to say something like that? Every religion say, yeah, it's them. Oh, those ones are the bad ones. Jews are the only ones say, hey, it's us. Hey, we messed up. So you have to understand, someone who decides to convert is saying, and to become Jewish, is saying, I'm now responsible for the world. Now that's a big choice. Imagine that I ask you, any one of you, do you want today to become president? President? Yeah, the president. Well, I know the United States are messed up now, but let's say, but are you ready to be president? Well, I'm not so sure. Becoming a president is like, you mess up, the whole United Nations, everybody is against you. And you do something good, then it's great, yeah. But if you mess up, it's big time trouble. You're all over the news, So, not so simple to become president. Now you have to understand, every one of you here today, even me, we all converted at some point. Meaning our soul was here in the past and said, I want that energy, I'm ready to take responsibility for that energy that Adam Arishon had, and I'm ready to fix the world. And I convert today and take that mission on. Big responsibility, yeah. But in a way it's much more exciting. Now if you go live and everything is smooth and nothing happens, we just want it exciting, power. Now you have to use the power well. It's more dangerous, but at least it's suspense. Maybe the movie without suspense is not interesting. So we Jews, we make the movie. We make the movie suspenseful. Our movie is our life. So let's understand that at some point, whether it was Abraham, one of his children, or at Mount Sinai, we were there, and our soul say, I want to convert. And now you just come back as a Jew because you one time made the choice to be Jewish. That's why. Why should you be born Jewish instead of non-Jewish? Well, what right do you have? You're special? No. You made the choice at some point. Now you come back. That's why at Mount, it says in the Torah that when we receive the Torah at Mount Sinai, that God is giving the Torah today to all the people who are here and the people who are not here. Who are the people who are not here? Are all the people who later on converted, who their soul really are connected to the people who are at Mount Sinai. So any one of us who were from the people who were spread out through the world, got reconnected, and we all took back that power from Adam Arishon. And that's that. Whoops. I made it on purpose. It was planned. Makes things exciting. Yeah, of course. Suspense. Yeah, I don't know if we need it still, but okay. So this is the first understanding that what it means being Jewish. Being Jewish doesn't mean I'm better, I'm more special, I'm this. Being Jewish means I have more responsibility. And it's only choice. I'm responsible for the world. When a non-Jew wakes up, okay, as a non-Jew, we know the non-Jews have 7 laws in the Torah. And let's understand that the Torah is not for Jews. The Torah is for everybody. For Jews and non-Jews. The 7 laws given to the non-Jews, they come from the Torah also. And most of the people who are, if you look at the world, all the people of the world are mostly following the ones who are righteous. They're following the 7 major commandments coming from Noah, right? Which was this. I don't know if you know, guys. There's a lot of organizations, especially in America, called Bnei Noach, Noachites. We call them the children of Noah, and there are thousands of them today. And they know they're non-Jewish, and they know they don't want to make that choice because of a lot of responsibility. And they're here, they help the Jews, and they're here to try to become better human beings. But they just do those 7 main laws. Not that it's easy to make those 7 laws, but they do the 7 laws. So it's not even from the non-Jewish point of view. They know they have a mission, those 7 laws, and they are trying to keep them. It's fascinating because you see now a glimpse of the unity between Jews and non-Jews coming together to really do the one goal, which is fixing the world and coming close to God. So yeah, as a Jew now, I understand now I have more responsibility, and I have to I'm responsible for the world. When you wake up in the morning, very exciting. I wake up in the morning, I say, today, I'm in charge of the world. I have to fix the world. A non-Jew wakes up in the morning, but his main mission is, I have to fix myself, at least, and my family, and I have to make sure I have a good society. But a Jew it's not enough. He took the responsibility for the whole world. Meaning when I walk outside and I see a little animal hurting, you have to help him. You're responsible for the world. I see, and Jews, they're not allowed to destroy fruit trees, for example. You're not to destroy nature. You have to look at pollutions, all those things. This has to be a concern for the Jews too. The Jews are responsible for everything that's happening in the world. Nature, human beings, animals, everything else. So I hope you are not, discouraged already of being a Jew. You have to understand, you have to try, when you look at yourself, say, okay, if at some point I decide to convert to Judaism, to become a Jew, why did I do it? You have to try to think, today, would I make the same choice and choose today to convert again as a Jew? Because technically, every morning we say, Baruch Ata Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam shelo asani goy. You are the source God, God of the universe, who didn't make me a non-Jew. And what's that for? It's not saying, non-Jew are bad. No. It's not that. It's to make sure to realize that, if today I was non-Jewish, I will choose again to be Jewish. I will take that responsibility. It's an honor for me, and I'm going to change the world. I'm ready for it. I want to do it again. It's very important to understand that. Then life becomes very exciting, right? I mean, guys, you're a star. You chose to be a star. You can be just a simple guy walking in the street, or you can be a Jew and go in the world and change the world. And everything you do matters. Now we have to be careful that we don't mess up, because, if we mess up, then we mess up big. But that's the challenge. That's the greatness of having power and learning how to use our power well. Okay. So let's repeat, or let's conclude at least the main definition of what a Jew is, and then we're going to go a little bit deeper into what is my specific mission as a Jew, as an individual. How do I find my specific mission? So let's understand, a Jew is someone who has a super soul. Okay? This is why when someone goes to convert, he goes in the mikveh. Right, he dips in the water, special water or lake, and he dips in, and when he comes out, he breathes, and then he gets his new soul blown into his nostrils, like Adam Rishon when he was created, and he received that extra soul, the thing he lost when Adam Rishon sinned. He received that special soul, and he's reconnected now with all the Jews of the world. From that moment on, everything he does has a super impact. So a Jew is someone who is responsible for the entire world. It's someone who has a tremendous energy, a tremendous power. It's someone who is not going to be happy living a normal life. What I'm saying by that, because you're a Jew and because you have that super energy, that super power, unless you use it, you're going to be depressed. You're not going to be happy with life. A Jew by nature always needs more. He wants more. He wants to accomplish more. And more and more and more and more. I mean, one of the reasons I personally become religious is, I used to live in France. I was very happy. A lot of pleasures, beautiful French girls. Everything was nice. But, I say, something's missing. Something's missing. There got to be something more. It's not enough. I say, what's more? I want to get the max of life. And the Jew has to understand that unless he looks what's the max in life, which is reaching the maximum, that's when we speak about the different levels of pleasure. The spiritual pleasure. If you understand that the spiritual pleasure is like 60 times more than emotional pleasure, for example, right? You feel love, right? Feel love? Yeah? Where you feel love. So, right, people almost die for love. So, imagine that a spiritual experience you can have through meditation and through connecting with God, will be 60 times more than that. That's mind-boggling. Once you taste it, you don't want to let it go. That's it. You can throw all the drugs away, all the bottles. You get spiritual high, and that's it. You don't need anything else. Yeah.
How do you taste that pleasure?
We're getting there. Not too fast. Yes, but that's understanding a Jew. You will not be happy if you just live a regular life as a Jew, and that's also why, especially, in Judaism, the law is not to marry a non-Jew. Why? Because if you marry a non-Jew, you might be so much more demanding than the non-Jew. Your soul is so much more demanding, needs more spirituality, needs more passion, needs more intensity, and a non-Jew is not going to be able to give to the partner, what that soul needs. Because your soul, you have a super energy soul, and his soul, not that he's bad, but he never made a choice to take that responsibility. Therefore, he has a different energy. It doesn't connect. It's not going to work. Different goals. So, that's one thing, and therefore you have to look at yourself you really have to look at yourself as a superhero or as a president. When you wake up in the morning, and there's a Gemara that says every human being is obligated to know that the whole world was created for him. You wake up in the morning, it's all for me, guys. All of you for me. You're even listening to me. Thank you. And anybody saw the Truman Show? What? The Truman Show. So old movie. Truman Show? Right, Jim Carrey. Okay. If you didn't see it, you can't understand Judaism. So please, go educate yourself. No. But it's a very kosher movie. I recommend, if you didn't see it, it really gives you a glimpse about the fact, the Truman Show, Jim Carrey, he's there, and everything that's happening for him, it's all a show. He thinks in a real life, but really everybody who is there is playing and acting as without him knowing, as if it's a real life. And every move he makes, everything is rearranged based on what he does, right? And the whole goal for him is to realize that everything is happening because of what he does. Everything depends on him. He's the star. He's the show. Each one of you is a Truman Show. And the greatness of God is that He can rearrange each one of it. For me, it's Truman Show. For you, it's also Truman Show. For you also. Everything together at the same time. That's the greatness of God, who can rearrange all that in the same thing. So we're in a big movie, and you can choose to be the star. But if you just want to be like anybody, like one of those guys who is walking in the background of the movie, backstage, it's cool, but it's not the best. We want the best. A Jew wants the best. So let's understand, it's very important, because as a Jew, you were given the Torah, right? The Torah is the manual that guides you and shows you how to fix the world, how to achieve the best possible type of life. Don't look at the Torah as laws. The Torah is not here to give you what to do in terms of, oh, you do that, you'll be a good boy. No. The Torah is not about that. Oh, I did a mitzvah. Oh, yeah, 1 point in the world to come. No. Cheating, We're not here to gain points. The Torah are here to give you tools and advices on how to get the best out of life. It's a manual. You go look a book of psychology, right? Say, oh, how to be the best husband, or the best father, or the best, friend. Well, that's what the Torah is here for. But we, as because we have a Yetzer Hara, we look at things. Religious people look scary sometimes, with a big beard, and I was scared at the beginning. But when you get to know them, they are very nice. So the whole point of yeshiva, all that, is learning how to become a perfect human being and how to get the most out of life. If you understand that, then you look at the Torah and all the teaching completely differently. Then it becomes exciting. Then it just becomes I'm just not just a robot. I do this commandment. Yeah, great. No, we're not robots. God doesn't need robots. God doesn't need to serve Him. We just need to serve ourselves in order to be the best possible human we can and to get the greatest pleasure and the greatest reward. So that's the mission of a Jew. And at last, in terms of general mission, is I'm here for the world, meaning that I'm responsible for all the non-Jews also. I'm supposed to be a model. I'm supposed to be an example, so that when a non-Jew looks at the Jew, he says, "Wow, what's that being? I want to be like that. How come, that guy is so generous, or he's so honest in his business, or how come he's like so kind with people, always helping, always, straight." I want to be like that. Who is that special nation? And that's when Moshiach comes. And you have to understand. In order for Moshiach to come right away, we just have to show what it means to be a Jew. That's all. We don't have, just by modeling, like you do with your children. The children have to look at his parents and say, wow, I want to be like that one day. That's exactly what we have to do. That's our responsibility. That's why we have the Torah. The Torah makes you responsible to be the best human being you can, so that others can be inspired by you and do the same thing. And again, it doesn't mean you're better or anything. It's a choice you make to be responsible and take on things. Let's understand that non-Jews also get the world to come. The non-Jews who are righteous, they get a place in heaven also like Jews. The difference is in terms of the reward depends on responsibility. If I take more responsibility, more reward. Less responsibility, less reward. So it only has to do with what choice you make in life and what you want to accomplish. But let's understand that you're responsible for the whole world. Even little things, think like, and a lot of people do that, they smoke a cigarette and they threw the thing on the floor. Nah, you're Jewish, you can't do that. The cigarette, it's pollution. You put it in the garbage. Ideally you should not smoke cigarettes, it's not good for your lungs. But as a Jew, you have to be healthy. You can't eat like tons of things, and you have to eat proper. You have to be a model. What's the best possible life as a human being? Yeah. Okay. So that's the general mission as a Jew. I think it gives you a good picture. Now I want to go in a bit more specific into how do you, each one of you here today, can find what's your unique and specific mission in life. And listen guys, this is so important. Unless you do that work yourself, home, on your own, you're going to waste a big part of your life. Because each one of us has a unique, specific mission. Just the same way we all have a different face, a different look, right? It's because each one of us has a different soul, and that means we have a different mission. And each one based on his soul has to find, each one has to look at himself, his soul, what his mission is. So how do we do that? One last thing I want to mention, because I think it's very important. Let's understand that when a Jew puts a kippah on, right, it's danger, right? Once you're a Jew and you put a kippah, it means I have to watch absolutely every one of my move, because now I'm the nation who is supposed, I'm part of the nation who is supposed to fix the world and show the world what it means to be a perfect human being. If I put that, I can't do any mistake. I can have a kippah and cut people off on the highway. You can't. That's why when I drive, I put a cap, because sometimes I drive fast. What? Yeah, keep your kippah off. It's better when you do something wrong. Let's say you know you're going to do something wrong. Take your kippah off. This way you don't do Chilul Hashem, which is right, and then you put it back. But don't. Sometimes it protects you. You know, because you're a kippah, you're not going to do it. So it's a challenge. But if you know you're going to do something wrong, don't put your kippah on. It's not worth it, because you're becoming a disgrace to the Jewish nation. And say, oh, that's a Jewish nation. I don't want to be Jewish. That can be a true religion, a godly religion, when you act like that. So putting a kippah on is an extreme responsibility, and it should be done. Ideally, you have to be proud, because people have to know you're Jewish. Because if they don't know you're Jewish, they don't know why you act like that. You're gonna have one day when Moshiach comes, hopefully before, but you walk in the street and you're gonna do something, and the guy say, "Wow, this is amazing! How you have a kippah, so you're a Jew." Oh, that's what Jews do. That's what it means to be a Jew. I want to be Jewish too. I want to live in that world. I want a world like that. So we have to understand that we have to inspire people, and not have people saying, "Oh, look the Jew, what he did." So once we look Jewish, we have to make sure, we have to be proud of it, but we have to make sure we act very properly. Okay, so how do we find your mission? The first thing to find your mission, very important. You have to make a list. You have to sit down and make a list of all your strengths, all your good character traits, all your talents. There's a thing called America's Got Talent? Yeah. You ever heard about it? Right? Okay. So let's understand that actually that's what I want to create. I want to create a show called Jews Got Talent. Right? And all the Jews are going to come and say, I'm super giving, I'm super this, right? We, as a Jew, we have to find our talent, what we are best at. And imagine people calling talent and saying, yes, I memorized hundreds of books, or I gave every day $100 to poor people, or I did whatever it is. I saved all the whales of Atlantic Ocean, whatever. Anyway, something, that's talent, man. You're not juggling or something. But you have to say, well, Jews got talent. You have to understand that you have a talent. The talent you have is a gift given by God. Your strength you have is the gift God gave you in order for you to use to change your life and to change the world. That's part of your mission. So you have to sit down and you write, okay, what are all my good character traits? I'm social. I'm sensitive. I can sing well. You can even write I'm beautiful. It's fine. It's also a talent, a gift that God gave you. You have to use it in the right way. Careful, girls. And then I can write well. All those things at times you were given are your tools for you to fulfill your mission. Now, when you look at all your strength and you see, okay, that's what I'm good at, and say, okay, now I'm going to use that and become the best at those things. Right? Because if you use another talent that you don't have, it's going to take you years to do it. And that's not the gift you were given. Take the talent you were given and expand on them. Right? Try to find which job fits best my talent. If I'm very good at singing, I'm not going to be a writer. You have to invest in singing. Sing nice Jewish kosher music. So you have to know what your talent is, make a list, and at the beginning it's hard. We're not used to that. Usually when I ask people to make a list of the good and bad character traits, they put me like 3-4 good character traits and about 55 bad character traits. That's human nature. We always see what other people do wrong and what we do wrong, right? But the good things, we let it away. It's the tactic of the Yetzirah. Who am I? You know, don't be too humble with yourself. Humble means I know who I am. So put down who you really are. You know, we all know in our inner strength. We all know what we're good at, and that's what you got to use. Okay. So, for example, let's say you're sensitive to, or you're very patient, and you're really a good listener. So you can become a social worker and help so many people social working. Or you can become a best friend who listens to people and have more friends than anybody else because you're someone who really cares and listens. So you have to find out, and this is what you're going to use to fix the world. Now, in terms of bad character traits, you also have to make a list of your bad character traits. You can't just put that away. But you have to make sure you first focus on your good ones. The bad character traits, you make a list, and that's all. Those are all your weaknesses. Those are the things that you have to watch out. And one of your mission is to fix those evil traits. The more you fix your evil traits, the more your energy, your soul becomes vibrant and powerful, and the more your any action you do will have a bigger impact. The more evil character traits you have, the less your impact into the world is strong. Yes?
What do you mean by evil traits?
Anger, Lashon Hara, speaking bad about other people, what? Jealousy, sadness, evil eye, just any, any evil character trait, any bad character trait that we have. This is something we have to make a list and fix it. So, yeah. Now, that's the first thing. It's probably the most important to start with, and you have to sit down and you have to make a list and to be clear of what it is you have to work on. Number two, in the Torah. Okay. You have to understand that our soul is, each one of the Jew is connected to the Torah that exists, right? When we're given the Torah, that's why it says there were 600,000 souls at Mount Sinai, and there's 600,000 letters in the Torah, or 600,000 combinations, at least, letter combination of letters in the Torah. So what that means that each one of us has one part of the Torah that he has to reveal. Unless you, and this is more of actually a man's job, even though women are totally encouraged to learn Torah and they can bring also a lot of revelations. But a man is obligated to do that because each one of us has a part in the Torah, and he has something that he can bring and reveal that nobody else can. Because when you read the Torah, right, you read the Torah with your own eyes, with your own experience of life. Nobody had your life, nobody had your experience. Meaning that when I'm going to learn the Torah, and my understanding and my view of the world together is going to be different. You're going to be able to bring something new that nobody else can. Each one of us is responsible to bring a better understanding, a new understanding of the Torah, and that's also part of your mission. Now, in the past, how did people know their mission? They would go to the prophets. People would go to prophets and say, Mr. Prophet, what's my mission in life? What am I supposed to do? So he will meditate, enter prophecy, speak to God, or if you are on a very high level, actually, you have actually some people today, like real big Kabbalists, they can look at you, they look at your soul, they look at your forehead, the lines, they look at your palm, they say, you have a big mission. You have to fix that, and you have to this is the area we have to work the mostly on, and this is what you have to fix in the world. This is what the damage you did in the previous life, and now, in this specific life, you come back to fix that specific thing. Yes?
I heard that, like, in order to know what your mission is, it's what's your weakest part. And you can't really control, that's your mission in life.
Right, so the evil character that is the strongest in you, this is like, you have to put a lot of effort. It's not the only thing, but it's definitely part of one of the big part of your mission. Where the place where you have the biggest challenge, that's where you have to put a lot of, almost most of your strength in there. Yeah, that's totally true. So today, we don't have prophets. Who do we go to? So, the different ways. You can go to a Kabbalist, but it's not recommended. Why? Because it's very hard to find a real Kabbalist, a Kabbalist who doesn't charge money. Yes?
Is this someone you suggest?
That I suggest? No, I personally don't suggest to go to a Kabbalist.
Why?
Because it's not the best way, and it's almost impossible to find a Kabbalist, a real Kabbalist. You hear Kabbalist, this one, but if you hear about Kabbalist, you know already he's not a Kabbalist. Usually. A real Kabbalist is hidden. He doesn't say he's a Kabbalist. And it doesn't mean that certain people who are Kabbalists have certain powers, but you have to be very careful.
But they're born to be Kabbalists.
They what?
They're born to it, or they just, anybody could be?
Some people are born with a special soul, and they have special powers on the higher level than other people. But it doesn't mean that as a simple guy you can also become a Kabbalist also.
But if you don't have that certain power, as you say.
No, you can gain those powers. Yeah. Remember, you reconnect to the source. You have your soul in you is huge. We just don't access it. The only thing that we have to do as Jews is access our soul. Once you access it, first of all, you'll be jumping and dancing all day. You'll be super happy. Imagine, I now turn the thing of electricity in you, and you're like, wow, That's really what we have here. In there, we have a real energy. And did you ever see people that are constantly happy and tremendous energy, and right? So they are more in touch with their inner self, with their true soul. Okay. Yes. What is Kabbalah? That's a whole class on itself. And you can come to my intro to Kabbalah classes in college campuses if you want. But Kabbalah basically is the spiritual, is the science that teaches you how do the spiritual and the physical world interact, right? How does the world work? Why when I say a word, the whole world is affected? How does that work? Why when I make a blessing, then all of a sudden things change in the world? How does that work? Like how many levels of the soul we have? How did the world was created? How does God speak to us? What is an angel? What's right? All this old Kabbalah explains all the spiritual things of life and how things work. So today, the best thing is not to go to Kabbalists because it's extremely hard. You should. The Vina Gaon says that today a person, when prophecy got removed from the world, there's a special, I guess, level of prophecy, much lower, which we call Ruach HaKodesh, that is available to every one of us. That in us, we have the power to connect and to use the intuition to find out what's our special mission. Actually, women have a stronger feeling, they're more in touch with that. That's what we call Bina Yesera. Right? The higher level of Bina, higher level of understanding. Women usually are much more in touch with themselves. And men have to work harder and purify themselves more in order to get that. But we have that answer in us. The more you purify yourself, the more you get in touch with your soul, the more you meditate, the more you're able to connect with your true self, and you can find out and feel more of what's your mission and goal in life. But in a way, probably the best thing today, and that's to find your mission and connecting to what's who to find, is to find yourself a rabbi. Now, I'm speaking about a real rabbi. There's two types of rabbi. You have a rabbi who just teach and just give you information, and this is what it means, and this is what's written. That's not Rabbi. You have a Rabbi and a rabbi. Meaning, you have a rabbi teacher and a rabbi, my rabbi. Okay? A real rabbi is someone who knows you, someone who can see in you, he can see your potential, he can see your power, and he is wise enough and has enough experience to see what's the strength of your soul and how to expand, and in which way, and at what speed. So this is hard to find. It took me 5 years to find one, but it's foundable. If you have really to pray for it and really look for it. And listen, it's not like I knew one. I met a lot, hundreds of rabbis, and actually there are two who I was, there are three who really impacted my life very strongly. And there's one that I said, this is exactly, it has to be someone you connect to, that when he teaches you Torah, you connect to it. It's meaningful, you understand, and it relates to your life. So this is so important. You have to make, it should be part of your mission, to find yourself your rabbi. Understand that if you really connect, if you have a rabbi, right, and you really connect and become one with that rabbi, not all, but when you go in heaven, right, when you go to the world to come, you receive part of his portion in the world to come. You become, that's why rabbis, if you have a personal rabbi, they are called your father. And the laws of respecting your parents is the same laws we learn. We use those laws to respect your rabbi, because he becomes then your spiritual father, right? That's why I say that the parents, they give you this world, and the rabbis gives you the world to come. So it becomes also your father on a spiritual level. So it's very important to find someone who can guide you, who knows you, and you cannot have someone who you ask a question to a rabbi and say, yeah, do that. He has to give you an answer that is connected to you, who you are at that point in life. If he doesn't know you, he cannot really answer you the proper way, right? So let's understand, right, that these rabbis who teach and the rabbi who is really a spiritual guide, and this is very important to find, and that's one of the best way really to always be connected and always be in the right path to escape pitfalls. Now, okay, another way to find your mission, that's actually part of your everyday life. It's called sparks. The sparks of holiness. The world is filled with sparks of holiness. The Ben Ish Chai speaks about that. All of Kabbalah and Baal Shem Tov. And when the world became like on the lower level, on the physical level, like we see it now, originally it was all very spiritual. Then when the sin was made, it became lower on the lower level, and the holiness that was existing at the beginning got broken, so to say, and broke into pieces, and exists now all over the world. Our mission is to take those sparks of holiness and elevate it and bring it back to the source. So, like as if you say, bring back the energy together, right? Bring all the energy together. So, where are those sparks? Sparks are in object. They can be in a stone, it can be in a chair, it can be in clothing. Most of sparks are in food. That's why Jews all eat so much, especially Bukharians. They always come with this food. They want to elevate sparks. That's why. So that's why it's so. So why? I'll make you an understanding. Your soul has specific sparks that is here to elevate. Okay, specific energy. So why, for example, when you're young, right? You like tomatoes, and now when you're older, you don't like tomatoes anymore. You like cucumbers. Like what happened? You what? Okay. Your taste buds changed. You're still the same guy. You stay as the same. What happened in your system that all of a sudden you don't like it? Well, in the past, the sparks you were supposed to elevate that connect to your soul were in the tomatoes. Now you finish elevating the sparks of the tomatoes. They're in the cucumbers. So go eat your cucumbers. Right? That's why we are different. Why all of a sudden you like yellow and now you're 30 years old, I like blue. Like, what's wrong? Now you buy blue clothing. Why? Because in those clothing are sparks connected to your soul, and you were meant to use those garments or those furniture connected to your soul and use it to elevate it. Now, how do you elevate those things? So when you eat it, you make a bracha, you make a blessing, and you recognize that food comes from God. Just the thought of just thinking of that elevates it. Even easier way to understand. How do you elevate the food? You take the food, it contains minerals, right, and all that, like vitamins. You take that food, it goes in you, it becomes part of you. Now you have energy from that food, right? When you have that energy from that food, what do you do with that energy? You're going to go slander, speak evil stuff, or you're going to go there and help someone with that energy? Well, you're elevating that energy that was in that food, those sparks, when you act in a good way, when you go now to help the person. Otherwise, you're wasting that energy. You take the energy to do bad stuff. Then you're wasting that energy. So the energy is what the sparks are for. And believe it or not, the way they explain it is that the pleasure you have when you eat food are those sparks. Why is something pleasurable? Because the pleasure are those sparks. The reason when you chew it and you have the pleasure, that's the holiness. The holiness gives pleasure. It's a taste of what holiness is. So that and that's the understanding. So sometimes I have something, I have a book, and then all of a sudden I lost it. Why? Because I finished my mission with that book. I elevated that book enough. Now it's up to someone else to elevate it. That's why when we're supposed to lose for what we lost. But after 30 days, it's considered huge that we forgot about it. We're not looking anymore. That becomes part of someone else's soul that took it, and now it's his mission to elevate it. You finish your mission with that book. Therefore, it's a great way to not to be frustrated when you lose something. At least, not that you should lose on purpose. No, but if you lose it, it's not such a big deal in that sense. Okay. So those are sparks, understanding that the world is filled with sparks.
Some people that lose something and they never find it. Is that supposed to mean?
So that's what it means. That means that you finished your mission of elevating that.
What if you find the thing that you lost?
Oh, that means you still had something to do with it.
It's like after a couple of months.
Right. So that means you were meant to. You were just not organized. You have to work on being organized. Sometimes sometimes it's not the book, it's you. You have to, yeah. So now a very important thing is your name. Your name is part of what your mission is. Your name, you can find it. There's a book called What's in the Name. There are a few books about what the meaning of the name. Especially if you have a Hebrew name, you can find even the numerical value of your name, what you call gematria. Every letter has a number, and you take the total value of your name. It gives a certain number that corresponds to other words. And you can look also the same name. Let's say your name is David. Then the life of David is going to be connected to your life. You have to look at what was his strengths and weaknesses, and his mission, and then learn from him. It's going to guide you in your life, or what your challenges are going to be. So it's very important to study your name and find out what's in there. And that's the whole idea why, yes?
Can you tell us a little about your name?
Michael? It's very long. I have a lot of things to do.
Keep it short then.
Nah, it's okay. I mean, I'm speaking for you. I want you to...
We'll learn from that.
Yeah, sometimes if you want in private, that's me. I don't want to show up. I want to. No, Michael is a big name. The highest angels of all angels is named Michael, the archangel Michael. Michael is the angel of Chesed, of kindness, and he's in charge of taking everybody out of Gehinnom. He tries to save anybody he can. And so, what? Oh, Gehinnom is what we call hell, the purgatory. The hell in Judaism is different. It's a place where you get cleaned out before you go or to heaven, to the world to come, to the happy eternity with God, or if you get destroyed. It's like judgment part. If you're clean enough, then you have to find the right dry cleaner. French are really good. French dry cleaner. Okay, but yeah, so you have to find your name, and there's a lot of it. Sometimes your name is connected to an angel, like Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, and it's...
Rabbi, does the day you were born in Mass, or the day and the year?
Yes, we're getting there.
Oh, my bad.
The day you're born. So let's go a little bit faster because I don't want people to fall asleep. It's late. What? So you, bless you. It's a good sign. Okay, so okay, that's not a good sign. So your name. That's why in Kabbalah they tell you never call someone by a nickname. Now I know most of us call each other by nicknames, but according you should not do that, because when you call someone by a nickname, you're cutting the strength of his name. When you say someone's name, he has that energy. So you have to call him Benjamin, not Ben, right? You have to call and if the person has two names, like David Shalom, he should say David Shalom, because that's his true name. Each time you say the name, you remind him that that's my mission, to become Daniel Shalom. And you know what's one of the first questions they ask you when you die? What's your name? And unless you have become who you are, the true David Shalom is supposed to become like someone who do that, right? Whatever mission is. Unless you did that, you won't remember. And that's what hell is about. They clean you from this world, from what you became, and they're cleaning you to make you become who you truly are.
How do they clean you?
Well, they use a special soap. It's a very Dove, spiritual soap. But that's what they call Chevet HaKever, the beating of the grave. Well, it's a process of leaving your body, all that, and
They do that in your
Because like
tapping thing?
oh, tapping, yeah, that's different.
That's
yeah.
similar to, no?
Yes.
because when we think of hell, we usually imagine what they depict on TV with the whole Christian idea
Yeah.
of porn
Right.
and fire.
Yeah. No, that's nothing to do.
that's true,
A hell for us is good. For the Christian, it's terrible. We have a good hell. Hell is a cleansing process. We get clean, and what? No, all those are images. You understand that all the pictures you say, and that's cartoons. That's to give you an idea of what it's like. But it's nothing to do. There's no red guy with a pitchfork and make you burn forever. No, that's for children.
No, I heard
No, that's an image of what the pain is like on a spiritual level. It's not real.
I heard there is a devil.
Well, no, there are evil forces that exist.
He has like
He's here to persecute you and attack you for everything you did wrong. But the Satan is an angel controlled by God in order to execute, to be in charge of everything that people do bad. Technically, the Satan is good. It's not like in Christianity you have the Satan and you have God and they fight. Evil against darkness. No. The Satan is under God's commando and is in charge of just making sure that the bad people get what they deserve. And he's here to test us, to make us grow.
Where do you get the image from it, though?
The image from Kabbalah.
No, them. I mean, the Christians.
From Kabbalah. All the Christianity, all the Kabbalistic stuff in Christianity, all the image they got is all from Kabbalah. Even the Jewish Kabbalah, it's 5,000 old tradition that we have. It's like, Abraham knew that stuff.
No, you don't understand. Like saying that hell is bad and the devil is not the red devil.
That's Christian took Kabbalah and misinterpreted. They changed the thing. They didn't say, there's Satan and God. They say, no, Satan is different and God is another force, and they're attacking God. That's why Madonna, who is learning Kabbalah, is not probably using it well and not understanding it well. And when you learn Kabbalah, you can't go to anybody. Let's learn Kabbalah. You have to go to someone who has a source. For example, I have a teacher who he got taught by his teacher, all the way back to David HaMelech. Straight tradition, 1. So it's direct line, and you were taught exactly what you're supposed to learn in straight tradition. So, yes. So that's about your name. And by the way, that's also one of the reasons why we say that when someone sleeps, if you want really to wake him up, say his full name. He's going to wake up. And I tried it. It works. Not always. Sometimes it's extremely deep sleep. But when someone is sleeping, say his full name, and usually they wake up much faster than. Because when you say full name, you're waking up the soul. When you sleep, your soul is leaving your body. So when you call the soul is coming back. It's cold. Who is calling me? From even if it's spiritual, it comes back down. Okay. Yes.
What's your real name? The English name or the Hebrew name?
Well, your English name is also important, but the Hebrew name is your essence. And sometimes you don't have a Hebrew name. You can choose a Hebrew name that you connect to. You have to see what that name means, and you try to find a Hebrew name that connects to you, to feel. That's going to be part of finding your own mission. But the English name also is important. You don't want to disregard it.
Most people call you by your English name.
Yeah, ideally it's better the Hebrew, but they can call you both. Julie, Sarah, whatever. But whatever. Okay, next. We're almost done. The next thing is astrology. 5 more minutes and we're good. Astrology is very important, and there's a lot of people misconception. You're allowed to study astrology. You're not allowed to use astrology to know the future. Because if you use astrology to look at the future, you're cutting your power of free choice and putting yourself in the laws of nature and influences of nature, and you're not gonna be free. We are as Jews. It says with Abraham that Hashem took Abraham out of the stars, out of the zodiac, out of the system, for that specific reason, that you have the superpower of free choice and you can bypass the system and the influences of the world. Technically, we're supposed to go like the way, and then up, you're able to escape it or bypass the system by not being connected to the regular flow of astrology. So there's a famous book, it's Sefer Yetzirah, which is a Kabbalistic book, but it's very hard to understand. There's a book called Above the Zodiac, which is very good, Signs of the Times. Today, more and more books in English, and in Hebrew for sure, but in English also coming. Learn which month you were born. So you can even, the Gemara says, even if you are born on that day, you'll be more like that if you're born that day. So you're allowed to learn astrology in order to understand when you were born, what influences. Look at the Jewish calendar. What happened during that time? This is going to be connected to what type of person you are and what your mission is. Okay, and let's understand also, that's very important, that each one, what does the Torah allow you to do? The Torah allows you to become yourself. As a person, you have to swim against public opinion. The world is affecting you. The media, the radio, things. Constantly you're bombarded with information from the media. The Torah, and in the way what the yeshiva world makes, it takes you out of the system, right? You're in America, and you remove yourself, you put your mind into the Torah, and the Torah shows you, okay, this is what the world really is, and how it really works. What's really important? What's really my mission? It takes you out from the what society tried to teach you, that the money is the main thing, that in order to be happy, you gotta have the Lexus and that type of girl and smoke this type of cigarettes and drink Coca-Cola. Enjoy. No, that's not what the highest possible pleasure you're gonna have from life, the best life. In order to have the best life, you have to look from the eyes of the Torah how to achieve that best life, and in order to do that, you have to withdraw and study the Torah. The Torah will give you so much so that it says that every day, if you learn Torah every day, whatever you learn during that day, let's say you have a question and you can't find an answer about life, a decision, whatever you're going to learn that day, the answer is going to be hidden in that what you're learning. If you pay attention, right, you're going to find the answer in what you're learning. Because there's no coincidence. Everything you do is part of your life. So if you learn Torah on a regular basis, that Torah is going to help you know what decision to make. And Okay, and I want to finish with the idea. You know, we just finished Tisha B'Av, right? You know, right? It was Tuesday. Tuesday was Tisha B'Av, the destruction of the first Beit HaMikdash and second Beit HaMikdash. Anybody knows why the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash happened? Okay, yeah, that's true. But what's the root of it? Where did it start at all? What? Yes. No. With the Meraglim, with the spies who went to spy the land. That's right. And here we are, Pasha Shlach. What happened? They went to spy the land in order to see if the land of Israel was good, and who was there, and what was needed to be done. So what's happening? Look what it says when the spies came back and reported stuff about the land. So it's Parsha Shlach. They argue against Caleb and Yeshua, and they say, but the man who had ascended with him said, we cannot ascend to that people, for it is too strong for us. They brought forth to the children of Israel an evil report on the land that they had spied out, saying, the land through which we have passed to spy it out is a land that devours its inhabitant. All the people that we saw in it were huge. There we saw the Nephilim, the sons of the giants from among the Nephilim. We were, that's the punchline, we were like grasshoppers in our eyes, and so we were in their eyes. And the entire assembly raised up and issued its voice. The people wept that night. So Hashem said, because you wept on that night, you cried for nothing, then you're going to cry in the past for something. And that's the 9th of Av, the Beit HaMikdash. So what's really had the problem? People think, oh, they spoke Lashon Hara about the land. Well, that's also true. But what was the thing? They say, we were like grasshoppers in our eyes, and so we were in their eyes. The Jews look at themselves as low beings, as alone, without power, not connected to God. What brought the tragedy of Tisha B'Av is not understanding who we truly are as people. We have to understand that, yes, we don't, and that's what's happened. They were going to go in the land, fighting with their own hands, and not with God anymore, not with the Shekhinah, or that, I mean, at least hidden. We have to understand, today, yeah, we don't see our super soul, we don't see the Shekhinah, we don't see miracles around us. You have to understand you have a super soul. You're a superhuman being. Whatever you do affects the entire world. And the way to rebuild the Beit HaMikdash, the way to bring Moshiach and to fix the world, is to understand how powerful you are, how much strength you are, and how every action you do affects the entire world. So, Bezrat Hashem, I hope that you'll try to apply. If you want to review this, or we're going to be on Torah anytime, try to apply what we learned tonight, and this way you'll be able to bring Moshiach, rebuild the Beit HaMikdash, and become 100% Jew. Thank you.